Manhood, brought to you in part by Solomon's Bespoke. Manhood, brought to you in part by Reboot Sports Drink.
Welcome to another conversation here on Manhood, and just a refresher and a reminder, we are not speaking on behalf of all men. We are few men speaking to all men. So the topic today is respect above all. To my right, Johanse Aodike, behavior change consultant. To his right, Ziggy Rankin, who certainly needs no introduction. And to his right, Niall McNish. I normally would go with the vibes god, but he wants to be called the provocateur as well. So let's add that in for Niall. So, I'm giving him his due respect. So we're talking here again, guys, respect above all. So let me just start off by what we mean by that. Both, when we say the two things that all humans want is to be loved and to know that they are enough, right? So that's for both male and female. But for men in particular, it seems that men strive or desire or require more than anything, because sometimes when you say desire, it might be conscious or subconsciously, yearn for respect. And if you don't get that respect, you either retaliate consciously or subconsciously. So men requiring respect above everything else. And if disrespect follows, then of course negative reactions follow that.
All right. I think a good place to start is we could define exactly what respect is, right? And I mean, everybody may have a different definition. I'll go with what I believe is the dictionary definition, which is, I think, a regard for someone's wishes or values, right?
That's very interesting, by the way.
If I was to say my personal, I would say a care or appreciation for someone values or someone opinion. So if I say, I don't like you to wear shoes in my house, I'll just give an example. You deciding, okay, well, I'll take off my shoes. That is showing some sort of regard and respect for my wishes.
Okay.
Right? If I say I don't want you to send me no longer than 2-minute voice notes, right?
And you still continue.
Right. That is not regard for my wishes. That's my take at first. Ziggy, tell us.
I agree fully with you 100%, From my upbringing, I think respect is one of the fundamental things, a foundation in my household. In the terms that is make life go much easier once everybody has mutual respect. Respect too don't mean that you have to agree with a man. Right through. For me, we could have the same opinion, and sometimes a man might say, well, you think that way, and because you think in that way, you figure you're disrespecting him because you have a different mental. But my solution for that in respect is always diction, just a conversation, you know what I mean? And once the respect in that atmosphere, for me, if we disagree on something, once we could find a common ground, and I understand, well, that is your perspective, that is mine, for me, that is also respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
you're basically having a regard for that person's opinion,
Must.
even though you differ in your understanding or differ in your opinion. You're respecting each other as people, as both brethren or brothers and men, that's your opinion, and we could agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But it's when that doesn't happen.
Yeah, when that don't happen, that disrespect.
Is that disrespect
Which is the majority
inferred.
of the time, isn't it, sir? The disrespect, if that's the case, is the majority of the time of human interactions. The minute that somebody don't agree with somebody else, like, think about it. How many genders are there?
Well, I
No
you're going on
good.
a road as far as
No
I'm
good. Because
two.
But
Because
a
I
lot
think-
of people would think of that as disrespect for the people, because based on what Johan say just described as the definition of respect is the regards of someone's interests or needs, right?
But I think people don't know what respect is and think they know and say it is because if I have regard for your wishes, so let's just say, I'll use the same thing. I regard that you want me to take off my shoes in your house, right? But I don't want to take off my shoes. Then I stay outside. So if and that
and that's okay.
that
But
realm
that
is
would be
I
looked at
disagree
as
with you.
disrespect, though. That could potentially be viewed as disrespect.
And I agree with you, because it's like, okay, well, is it so difficult for you to respect my wishes? So rather than you respect my wishes, you prefer to stay outside. But in a way, it's semantics in a way, or subjective, because I could say, well, no, I am respecting your wishes. I could leave on my shoes and prance in your house, but instead of doing that,
What Robert's saying there is the reason you don't know what respect is, because if you say take off your shoes to come in my house, and I say, nah boy, I don't want to take off my shoes, and I say, well, let me talk. So I stand up outside the house and we talk. You regard for my wishes because I don't want to take off my shoes.
Right.
I regard for your wishes because I'm not coming in your house with my shoes, but we stand up and talk outside. But the moment, and this is why I don't know when it gets skewed, I don't know how long ago, as soon as somebody don't agree with you,
Yes,
it's disrespect.
Disrespect.
And they start to get on.
So that mutual respect is important. But I just want to touch on something, because I don't like on this show, especially Ziggy, to leave things open-ended, right? Or subject to interpretation. So when Niall asked only both of us responded with regards to how many genders are there. As far as I'm concerned, there are 2, right? Now, you said based on the definition, is that people may feel disrespected. Based on our understanding of what respect is, and to use Johannes' analogy, I'm not disrespecting anybody. You ask me my opinion and my thoughts and what my values are. So I'm not disrespecting anybody by saying that they're 2, right? If they believe that they're more than 2, then that's I'm respecting that you believe that.
Okay.
I'm not challenging that in any particular way. I'm just saying, if you ask me, Robert Dumas, how many genders there are.
Well, it wasn't you in particular.
No, but I'm just
right?
saying that is subject to interpretation, but it's definitely in no way meant to be a disrespect to anybody and their own beliefs.
Well, let me expand on it then. If it is that a man who is now, identifying as a woman says that he wants to be labeled as such, right? Would you call him a her? Would you say she, as in addressing him?
No, because then it violates my values. So we could agree to disagree. If it is the only way I could speak to you is to address you as she, and in my opinion is not that, then we wouldn't talk.
Then we
we
won't
don't
talk.
have a conversation.
Well, then,
And that is I respecting you by not disrespecting you by calling it he or something you don't want, and then I hold in my ground.
well, this rabbit hole could go deeper, because if that's the case, we could go even further back when there had a time where black people wasn't even looked at or viewed as humans. It's a whole race of people, right? So to them now, as far as they're concerned, this is their reality, right? And what you're suggesting is that we black people were supposed to say, well, okay, I respect how you feel about it, and we should just move to suit.
No, Niall, you really say that as a rabbit hole, eh? Because if we're talking about, before we started, I think the discussion outside of the room was, it has to be earned, right?
Respect has
to be earned,
Okay.
and there was a little banter about that. Even for race, if one race don't like the other race, that to me, that is their opinion. I shouldn't strive to change their opinion. So if you're using black people shouldn't try to make other people like them. Understand that they don't like you, and then, as you say, move to suit. Do your thing, right?
Okay.
So if
stand outside.
But
That's
as
race.
Long,
That's
as long
race.
as you're doing that in equality of rights, human rights, because you still recognize that we're humans, and as a human we have rights. You mightn't like it, or you mightn't want to. It could be your opinion or your decision not to interact. Like, you don't have to marry a black person, or a black person doesn't have to marry a white person, but we have to respect the human right of being able to access the same things.
But that's only after the fact, though, because at that point in time, it had no such thing.
No, but I'm saying to you, notice I said human.
Right.
When someone tells me call them a particular name, right, based on that's outside of, and you did point out rabbit hole. And I don't want us to get too involved.
No, but we still in the respect,
deep.
you know.
But it's
Still
still in the respect that I can decide to myself that I'm not infringing on your humanity or your human rights, and I'm not violating that in my opinion.
Yep.
Right? I'm choosing not to call your particular name because I don't agree with it. And therefore I am respecting you. But where we differ and where things start to become volcanic in the sense of our behaviors is, I believe in something, you don't agree with me, we're going to fight. We're going to get aggressive. I have a religion, I believe in this, you don't, I can't convince you to believe what I believe, so I am no longer respecting your opinion. I'm no longer respecting your beliefs. I want you to believe what I believe. And if not, it's not a simple case of you saying, let's just agree to disagree. Violence takes place. Ignorance takes place.
I want to take you back to his scenario. For me, as I say, we're not talking for all men. I believe it depends on the individual, and how open your mind is. Because as simple as the situation with, I don't want to wear shoes in my house, that simple situation could turn into a big bacchanal, depending on the two individuals involved. Because the man could say, well, how you mean? You know me, walk in your house with shoes, and like if you're better than anybody else, and at the same way, the man could say, well, you didn't want to come in, you didn't rest. And it could turn into a big bacchanal depending on the mental of the two individuals. So respect for me, it depends on the people involved in that situation.
Nah, I disagree with that, man. Because respect has one meaning.
It has one meaning, but the understanding, everybody has a different understanding.
But then it's not respect. You're misconstruing what respect is to suit you. What from the scenarios you all given, and even I've seen it, what most people want respect is you have to agree with me. If I tell you something, it have to be that, which is bold-facedness. That's the way it is, right? So maybe this conversation highlighting we don't even know what the respect is really, because respect is
respect is subjective because
but it
another
can't
man
be
might be disrespected by that.
Listen. This
I
world.
understand what you're saying.
Listen, this world is interesting. You can't subject. You can't. I can't decide what the word respect mean. Then you decide, and you decide, and you said. Then you all don't know what is going on.
No, but what Johan say when you say yes, I believe that respect still is subjective, but it's where you're at in life because there's certain things that I might tell Niall that he wouldn't feel disrespected by. But it is what he puts as his values and where he is at in life and what page he's on in his story that we call
Give me
life.
example of that. Give me example of that.
So like, for example, I might tell Niall, you're always late. Or a car depend on you, right? Now where he's in, he might be in a position of, I simply don't give a right? That's not where I am in life, right? But if I might say to him, Niall, you're a crap producer. Right?
No, but use the same scenario. You're late. Niall, you always late.
No, but that to me might be a sign of disrespect. To me, the fact that you don't call, now this is, for everybody, all intents and purposes, this is we're embellishing here, making up a story. It's a hypothetical situation, right? Although he is sometimes. But right? But the fact is that him being late, to me, is a sign of disrespect because if I am late, there are most people who are late don't like other people to be later.
No.
Right?
Go ahead.
Right? I'm not calling any soca artist or anything name.
What?
I'm just saying, right?
How you reaching?
I just say there are people that sit up when they want, right? But Niall then feels he doesn't feel any disrespect for that because he's like, well, I late, I didn't know to call there or whatever the case with me. But I feel disrespected.
Did you tell him what to do? Because you see, respect now comes with boundaries. The only way for you to know not to wear your shoes in my house, I have to tell you something. It's not by osmosis.
So I will have that conversation, but you'll do it again because
but if you do it again, now it becomes disrespect.
It's a disrespect. But it might be one that's not learned because in my upbringing, I would have learned that being late is a form of disrespect. So I agree with you. So even though there are levels of disrespect, because to him, it might be one that's not known at that particular point. It's like, okay, well, in my environment, small thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. At least I hear.
Yeah, at least I hear. You know what I mean? Like, or you're so hard up, boy, all these things. Chill now, man, it's only 5 minutes, right? And they say you can't be late twice. Or like the Queen says, God rest her soul, she's never late, everybody else is just early. But you're not the Queen, right?
That's such rank. I love that.
Yeah. So my thing in this case is that you do it once, that might be an unknown. But the second, now that I might have communicated it to you, you do it again, then it's at that point, that's a disrespect.
Yes.
But we coming back to the fact that to him, in his realm, is not really fully understood or embraced as a disrespect. Me challenging him with something that he really holds high in value is when then he feels disrespected by it.
Well, that it could be, because, all right, Niall, if you are accustomed being late. I just giving the example. Again, Nile not always late, right?
Amen.
Right? if you are accustomed being late, that's normal in your world. But you want to interact with Robert. And Robert say, I don't like people being late, or if you're late, call me. And if you still choose, you hear what Robert says, and you still choose to interact with Robert, but not on Robert terms, that is disrespect. It don't really matter what Nile background is, you know.
Agreed.
Although Nile could say, nah boy, see this early thing, I can't take this, it's better we don't work together. Or
Okay.
we
But it
figure
might be
something
aggressive in terms of his decision might be purpose to, hey, I don't give a what our man say. I gonna do my own thing. It might be just naturally, he just can't be on time. But I'm saying by me saying, Nile, you know, you're always late, you know, I can't depend on you. Those things could be water off a duck's back. Unless I then penetrate that by something that matters to him. That might be me calling him something or saying something to him that he might then think, I take a lot of pride in this, and now that I've said you are not that, as a result of this, me feeling disrespected, now disrespects him. And I'm saying that there's that back and forth, and if we continue to use your analogy of the shoes, and coming back to what you said, Ziggy, we're in a world that it is so fickle and so easy to feel disrespected. And when I say it's subjective, coming back to that, it really comes down to where you are in life at that moment. Because if I say, take off your shoes when you're coming, I could simply take off my shoes and come in. Or I could be like, nah, boy, I have big bunions on my toes, all kind of things. I not taking off my shoes. I'll go talk to you outside here. And both parties could be cool with that.
True.
But the reality is, that's not going to happen because people want you to feel the way they feel or react the way they want to react. And anything outside of that, we're not really open to accepting difference in
That is
opinion.
the
I would
problem.
use the word
Wait,
mature.
let us not
We're
be
not
late
mature.
now to the break. Right? So
Right.
this is manhood, and we're going to a break and we'll be right back.
Yes, sir. So, welcome back to Manhood. The topic is respect above all. So, here, fellas, I studying too, we having this conversation. You know, sometimes a man could disrespect you by not even saying a word, right? So, it have certain, a man might watch you a certain way and you don't know already. So, for me to have all types of disrespect, I'm a peaceful guy, I can handle it. But you know, one of my pet peeves where I could never calm myself is when children disrespect me. I can't take it at all. And them kind of thing has blown. When I say children, I mean like secondary school children and these kind of things. These
Like what?
youths were, like, I mean, back when my daughter used to go to school, I mean, my daughter is a very attractive young lady, you know what I mean? But in the presence of her father, you know, you will find some youth saying some out of time and things now. And those things as a, not even as a father, but just as a man, I can't take disrespect from youths at all. I can't handle that. And that is something that my mind can't process and be like,
Is
all
it
right.
the age? Is it the fact that they're younger than you and
I
it's
think it's
supposed
that,
to
you know.
have a certain level of...
I think it's that. And I mean, back in the days in New York, I think maybe I was traumatized with a robbery that I was almost, you know, I mean, a little youth man, I can't even say the man, the youth man was about maybe 14, 15. And them times I live in New York and coming out of the party and talking to me normal. Time is about sunrise, the sun done coming out and the 4 youth men come up and they say, well, yo, Rastaman, how the party's inside? And I was like, the party was nice, party done. And as I turned my head, gun to temple, and I had to pull off, gun stick it, real drama, real bacchanal. So I think as a adult, somehow that traumatized me somehow, and now
Yes.
any
You get triggered,
yeah, so
easily.
anytime a youth man say anything out of timing, I just flip. I just can't take it. I started to tell them, you know, I mean, not a disrespectful thing, you know, but let them know, you know, I mean, as an adult, I mean, how you can't do them thing, but they be embarrassed because a big man pulling them up in front of their peers.
Correct. So this is what I want to ask you. It says, as you said, the outer timing for them. When they now perceive what you are now, how you are now responding, based on maybe their own traumas about their parents or
nobody said
uncles, anybody around them who might be embarrassing them in their communities, now looking at you, and anything that you say could be a trigger to them, and that
in years from now.
Correct.
and then puts you in a real problem, like a potentially even more violent position.
Correct.
Whether you say something or don't say something by an action.
Which is what I think happens generally, as in everybody just dealing with their traumas.
So then there's madness. Then if you understand what I'm saying, so then
Yes.
disrespect really have no standard. Anybody could feel this, and that's why I wonder still if it's really disrespect, because I think it kind of more in the realms of offense than disrespect.
Feeling offended.
Because the thing is, they still had regard. It's very possible they still had regard for you. They didn't think, well, I don't like this man, and I want to, so I disrespecting his daughter in front of him because I don't like you. So it wasn't even about you,
It's not about me at all.
right? They doing their thing, right? They see your daughter. They say what they want to say. They didn't think about, well, I want to hurt Ziggy, and I say not that way
But it's
because
a disrespect. Because if they mightn't disrespect Ziggy, they mightn't have known it was Ziggy or anything to do with you, but they're seeing it and they just have a total, not just disrespect, but disregard for Ziggy. Like, hey, I watching your daughter, you are not a threat to me.
Yeah, as a parent walking with your child.
or that maybe that's where they're from, and everybody is do that. So
Yeah.
That's
it
what I
may
was
not
gonna
even
say.
even be that. And there's so many dynamics. Why is important, and what we started talking about it before is one. I think it may be difficult in the situation because sometimes when emotions rise, you can't think about it. But if we learning how to gain respect and show respect, one is the most we could do is at least tell people as much as possible what are our preferences. It wouldn't be possible in all scenarios, of course not. But at the most part, people who in your sphere, at least you let them know, hey, when you're around me, I like this or I don't like this, so that you could minimize the level of disrespect. But outside of that, still we could understand, and sometimes this is where, as men, we should be able to manage our emotions, because somebody could do something and it have nothing to, they're not really on us, but we take disrespect. So the fact is, it's not they disrespect us, it's we choose to feel disrespected based on their actions.
Now, you said manage your emotion, right? Now, you could manage your emotion, but you can't control how you felt, right? You can manage the emotion in terms of how you react, but you can't control if something...
The actual feeling.
The actual
Okay,
feeling, right?
so you get angry, you feel whatever,
So
right,
my
okay.
thing is, again, and I hate to keep coming back to the shoe analogy, but it was a good one, and they're very rare from you, right? So there's...
I feel disrespected.
right?
Disrespect.
I have the utmost respect for your answer. And he knows that. That's why I could make joke about it, right? Because in this case, it is a joke. And what I'm saying to you is, if it is that somebody comes into you invite somebody into your home, you know, you've prepared a meal, you know, you've cleaned the house and all that, and you think to yourself, it's simply a case of, you know, just leave your shoes at the door. But he might feel very strongly about it. Now, even though you may relent and either say, no, it's okay then, you know, leave your shoes on and come in the house, you may manage your emotion into how you feel, how you show that person you feel at that particular point. But inside you're like, well, what do you know, like, what was he problem, boy? And immediately you've started already to leave some resentment inside of there, because you throw off the whole game. Or you then might take off your shoes or leave it on and stay outside, and then the person relents to you and says, okay, and have a conversation outside if they didn't go and cook a meal and all kind of. And again, it depends as well if it's a woman, because if it's a woman, you take off shoes, everything else. And you're going to manage that emotion, but the emotions are still there, because inside, we're not happy with the fact that I've either had to give way, or the fact that I don't believe in what you believe in.
But which is life, though. But does it mean that if it is that there's no respect means it's disrespect? There's no neutral ground with respect?
So
I can't.
Waiting.
It have so many scenarios where men,
Listen.
all right, because sometimes a man, or for instance, you go a juvie, you carry your girlfriend with you and you're in a juvie, and you just step to the side to get something for the drink, and 2 and 3 and 4 man trying to jam up on your girl. When they know, let me say we're in the same band and they don't know, I come with my girl in the band, but you just wait for me to turn and you're behind my girl. That's not disrespectful. So as a man now, What I supposed to do?
Did
And especially the woman.
This going to sound real funny.
Yeah.
Did you tell them not to come and jump
No.
up on your
Oh
girl?
my,
It's
you
supposed
want
to be.
come now, man.
It's supposed to be
No,
understood.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. No,
You
I'm
have- you have
playing-
a
Then a man go
disclaimer.
say-
No, I'm playing
but
devil's,
man
I'm
go
playing
say it's
devil's
juvenile,
advocate here
Right.
because, again, some of these things that we take in a disrespect is just an understanding now. And it's an understanding sometimes somebody else may not have. Somebody may not have that understanding at all, but I get what you're saying. So go ahead.
Let me take it a bit further, right? Your girl decide, hey, she want a wine, you know, they come in for a wine, and she have no problem in, you
Showing
know,
it back.
leg back and tongue out
Then
and
that
lip
depend.
out.
That depend on the relationship that you and your
Again,
significant other
did you
have.
tell her not to jam up on any other
No,
man?
no.
Ah,
Sometimes,
right.
if
you understand
you
what
are
I'm saying.
accustomed now, exactly, yeah, you have a point, eh? Because if you and your significant other are accustomed going these fests and parties, and that's always party, fine. But if you are a couple and you're conservative, and your girl don't want you whining and know it understood. For instance, for me to go and jam on our next girl in our party would be disrespectful for my girl.
If she tells you not to.
Exactly.
Right.
Vice versa. Same as if we in the same juve thing. If we understand we're going to have a good time and I doing what I want and you doing what I want, it understood. If we moving in the juve band as a couple and people seeing from the time, look, them two, them stick up on each other. And from the time I just walk so, you know what I mean?
I bringing it back down to, like Niall would have said, and Johan said, you know, you could really give us probably some of the psychological or psychiatric evaluation.
Psychiatric is syntax, but anyway, let me go ahead. Go ahead.
Because it really does come down to a level of trauma. So let's talk about horning, for example, right? So a man.
Did you tell her not to hold you?
But technically that's supposed to be understood in
So,
any
no, but I'm just saying
relationship.
about the levels of disrespect, right? Men, the men out there, be it from trauma or not, who purposely go out to disrespect another man, right? Because it's been done to them, and they're going out there looking for that reaction, that interpretation. My days, I'll give you quick examples. In my days when I lived in England, you know, I left Manchester and went down to London to meet a friend. So we were a bunch of students. And we went into a club, and a gang walked in, right? A couple of guys, about 5 or 6 of them. And they purposely went up to the girl, right? And one guy put his hand up her skirt, right? The guy then is tell himself, he's looking and saying, guys, you know, cool yourself now, whatever. They were looking for anything to incite some sort of violence. What then happened is the woman then looked at her partner as if to say, you just gonna stand there and do nothing about this? He evaluated the situation, saying it's 5 man who clearly
there's no
looking
win.
for drama, and she is there now pushing him. And of course, he now goes and puts his hand out, and the next thing you know, he's in hospital. They took the bar stools and beat him across the head and all the rest of it. So this is a case of same thing with the whining. The woman might be looking for you to make her stop to that, right? I am saying that these are all specific levels of disrespect in that case. And I want to bring back very quickly to the horning side of things. Men know, whether they want to admit it or not, if you've ever been in a situation where a woman is with you and she has a man, right? When you're doing your deed, you're not really thinking about the woman per se, you know. You're trying to see how much you handling that woman, almost as if to say, I want that woman have an imprint of me when she go back home.
That's
We've
a little ego thing. You know? We love that. We love that sometimes.
And so does it all come down to levels of trauma that we
Yes.
purposely want to disrespect and break our next man to somehow, I don't know, make ourselves feel better? I mean,
That's what it's all come down to.
hurt people.
So everybody just trying to cope somehow. You know, that's why it have those negative comments on social media. It's just people, their way of coping is disrespecting somebody else. Because, again, a lot of the times they feel small or unheard of, and they want their voice to be heard somehow. And a lot of the times injuring somebody else is the best way to feel strong, which is unfortunate, right? But you had mentioned something way back in the first segment where you said that respect has to be earned. And I actually disagree with that. I actually think that respect should always be given first. Unwillingly. Just respect, and then you can remove respect accordingly.
Give me the example.
Example of that would be you walk into a room, let's just say someone has all the markings of a white supremacist, right? Have the swastika.
That's subjective, but go ahead.
Markings
Go ahead.
is what I said, right?
Right, sure.
I could easily interpret how this person is acting or behave or how they look as disrespectful to me and my race, right? But I would respect him as a man because as far as I'm concerned, he did not do anything to disrespect me in the moment. And if it is that he does say something or does act in a way that I see as or I deem as disrespectful, I could now start removing respect from.
So it's conditional respect.
From how
is, I'm not going to react or retaliate unless you do these things. So really and truly, respect is already lost between the both of you. It's just a matter of how do you act upon it if you feel disrespected. That's really what you're saying. I just wanted to bring up this topic, this term as we were talking about the disrespect that somebody sent me the other day. It's called sea lioning. I don't know if anybody is heard.
Sea lioning.
Sea lioning.
Okay.
Right?
What is that?
Another one of these topics like manner lessons and things that
Right.
people brought.
Go ahead
Sea
now,
lioning.
go ahead.
You've heard of it?
No, but
So-
I just tired of all the things. Go ahead now, go ahead.
That could be disrespectful how you acted right now, Johansson.
Good. You're disrespecting the people that came up with
Oh,
it.
you're upon the thing now. Let you just get over this part.
So sea lioning refers to the disingenuous action by a commenter of making an ostensible effort to engage in sincere and serious civil debate, usually by asking persistent questions of the other commenter. The commenter usually says, I am just sincerely trying to understand. So that's a new thing called sea lioning. So basically a lot of...
Say that again?
So in other words,
put it in
we
context.
could talk about this on another show, but I just wanted to bring it up because...
I think I do that.
Exactly. So in short, you have the former president of the United States, the way he delivers certain things, it's almost sarcasm in a way, but it's now coined as sea lioning, right?
Sea lioning. I don't
And
know why.
they're all different ways of what you're really doing is looking at somebody with a sincere way, but really you have you're totally disrespecting them, whether they're aware of it or not, right? And you yourself are in a form of
So it's like gaslighting, disrespect.
Probably in a particular way, but you're doing it in a very sincere way, like you're really trying to understand
it's
and
sounding
asking
sincere.
particular questions, sounding sincere, and it's almost as if you're just letting them dig a hole deeper and deeper for
them to
themselves.
disrespect themselves.
And,
Yeah, okay,
and you
gotcha.
see it a lot of interview do it, and they let that person put themselves into a particular one. Say, so you really felt that way, huh? And they're looking at
Tell
them,
us more about.
Tell us
okay,
more. And
okay.
So what about this? And so you really liked it, and they go, yeah, of course. And all of a sudden they just put in themselves, more and more memes are coming up.
Lioning.
So it's sea lioning. So I just wanted to put that out there as the different levels of disrespect.
All right. Well, let you not disrespect the sponsors.
Time
We're
again, yeah.
going to the break.
Right of it.
Welcome back. This is Manhood, and we're talking about the respect and respect above all. And I have a question for you, Ziggy. Would you ever feel disrespected if a promoter or someone who hiring you for your music, for your craft, if they say, okay, rather than I think I could offer him a 300 US for his performance. Would that be a disrespect to you?
Of course, that's a big disrespect. As artists, well, for me, you had to know your worth. You had to know your worth. I'm the type of guy, if everything not right, then I prefer not to do it. That's my way of showing you. You don't know hard feelings. For example, some of these reggae concerts we have in Trinidad and Tobago, if you see me missing from a reggae concert, it's because I politely decline. My thing now with the level that we at, speaking for all my brothers and them, we deserve the same amount of respect as whoever they bring in to Trinidad and Tobago to perform, because when we leave the country, we get the same amount of respect outside. Okay. I mean, we don't get any problems to be paid and all this and this sort of stuff. So for me, my thing is if I tell a promoter, all right, we're going on a reggae show, for example, I need my band. I need a live band. I need a certain amount of time. If you want to put me on first, it's not a problem, but I need these certain criteria. And if you decline anything, then but another man might take it as disrespect because they bring in you somewhere because they know you have the power to bring people, but because you're from home, and we go through it a lot. So we get a lot of disrespect in...
So, like as in amongst itself, the disrespect is higher?
In the industry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it always, again, without conversation and context, is it always disrespect? Because there's a lot of times that the promoter might be trying to do something and, for example, and I'm not saying that is always the circumstance.
You know what they say? They always say, we're trying to put you out there and we're trying to give you this opportunity. And
correct.
How many opportunities that is?
Agreed.
Over 15 years.
No, that is a disrespect. When they say, hey, this will give you a good platform or, engagement, etc., etc. Now, that I understand. But if I'm saying to you that you really only have 300 US, is it then a conversation that could be had to say, I know, and you've probably heard this several times before, I know you're worth X, but this is what I could afford, and this is what we're trying to do. Because there's circumstances even with me, people say, hey, I can't afford you, or I want you to do something for me, I want you to come and host something, I want you to help me produce a film or show. And I would simply say that in many cases, if I'd rather do it as a give back than to take this money.
It's no when people genuine too.
Yeah.
For me, I would always say to pass it on to somebody else, or give a younger artist who coming up that platform to do what you want me to do. You know what I mean? So it's not no malice or anything. But if you can't, as I say, if I don't feel like I gain my worth, then take a back seat.
Stand outside with your
and just give somebody else the opportunity to take it.
But outside of that, what are some of the other scenarios that you've encountered of seeing people being disrespected?
Or you yourself being disrespected?
Or why other people feel the way they feel?
Boy, it's so much, It's so much. I don't even want to get personal because people know me. It have different things. I mean, radio stations, different interviews when people interviewing you. For instance, if somebody don't do the research the proper way, and a man bring you to give you an interview and they don't even know what you're saying. I mean, and they don't do the proper research, and sometimes you have to find yourself answering questions that don't even make sense. To me, that's a big disrespect too.
But hear this, right? Why answer the question if you know it didn't make sense?
Because you don't want to put that person in place live on air and say, well, Solia, you should have do your research before you call me on your program. Because sometimes, most of the time, it's going on live, and they're asking you these questions, and you're like, yo, this have nothing to do with anything that I am about as an artist or what I, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's been lost, and you had to try and, the professional ways to try and
so you try not to disrespect
them. You try not to
You're
disrespect
trying
the
not to
host.
disrespect them and make it easy for them.
Are you disrespecting yourself by doing that?
Yes, I am.
You see that's an important thing because if somebody disrespecting you, I'm not saying it's tit for tat, you have to lash them back, but ensure that you don't disrespect yourself in the process. So
a lot of people don't know that.
Not to cut you, but after
the
interview, I would, if it happens, after the interview, I would say, youth man or brother, you need to do a little more research because welcome on the program to try and achieve. And achieve it. You know what I mean? You just carry it somewhere. I would tell them and say, well, next time, do a little homework.
Yeah.
So it's
either your time has been wasted.
Yeah, so either they might take it a bad way and leave and say, well, boy, Ziggy didn't really know what he talking about, or they might take the learning and say, well, yeah, next time, let me really prepare for
and not
somebody.
take it as a disrespect, or you telling them like that.
Yeah.
But
for them to
again,
take it positive.
We said it at the start about maturity, and we were speaking about that, about the levels. And are we there as men where we could understand that, let me see where they're coming from, or take it to a point of, if I go into an environment, I see some young men, and I say something, I might genuinely be trying to educate or assist or meaning no disrespect, but they could see it based on trauma or just my appearance or delivery as a disrespect and then retaliate in a particular way. Or, in your case, for example, an event of crime. I'm saying that moving into a scenario like that, not everybody's at the level that they're going to say, let's have a discussion. What did you mean? Explain that. They're just going to react based on their interpretation. So when you go into that environment, like you said, if you were to tell the gentleman, the VJ or the DJ after the fact about the information, he might be like, boy, who he feel he is, boy, he tired, boy, he like go to school. All these different things are gonna come, and now it's a retaliation for something that you are simply trying to educate and help them raise the standard for going forward. But they take it into the form of disrespect, and they're going to act out on that. And that's why we keep coming back like to this show, particularly where we say that respect above all. You yourself said that there's no specific one-size-fits-all for that in terms of a meaning, and it's subjective. Because you might go on to somebody else next. I might tell you something. You might feel disrespected. I tell Ziggy. Ziggy doesn't feel disrespected. And he says, what do you mean by that? And we have a further discussion on it. And we go along the line. I might tell Niall something, and Niall get up and slap me with the mic.
Well,
You know?
let me tell you, Robert and fellas, this conversation has helped me a lot. One, I understand even in previous relationships, and as relationship, not only with women, friendships, etc., where I was wrong. Because sometimes I expected people to know what are my boundaries, what are my triggers, etc. And I may have sometimes exploded on people or even felt disrespected when sometimes they don't even know what is going on with me. So to everybody I did that too, I apologize. That's one. And then two, it also made me realize, because this comes up a lot in couples counseling too. And both men and women, that, you know, well, he decided disrespect when he's saying, but I didn't, I just do XYZ. And then he's saying to her, she just come out and she XYZ, and she's saying, but I didn't know anything about that. And I know everybody not at the level, and we all of us learning. So as people viewing, and as you even say, Robert, now that we understand a little better what respect is, I think we could gain it more if we ask a question. Again, it's not a perfect world, it's not a perfect scenario, but as the people who are listening here and the people that want to do a little better, one, let people know what are your boundaries, and then two, even ask a question. So, Ziggy, why you say that? Versus just thinking, well, he don't like me, he thinking,
But
if
you're
you
not
could.
always going to have the respect for the person to want to engage. Now, if we're having a conversation here, and I respect you enough, or your partner, whatever, then you may say, you know, explain that a bit more so I have an understanding. So let me really understand whether you're trying to me up, or whether or not it was just a misunderstanding on both our parts, right? So you're not always going to want to engage at that level. The second thing to that is that there's still levels of respect, because there's a global understanding of respect to somebody, to a man, right? For example, I saw there was a video, a clip the other day of one of the basketballers shaking LeBron's hand, and they had a big thing, made a big deal about it. The walk past the wife. But what it really came down is the man didn't introduce it to his wife. So she understood that as respect, to say, if he's not doing the introduction, I'm not going to push up myself, right? And that's their understanding, and it's a cultural thing as well. So I'm saying that apart from a global understanding of what respect is, there's just a general understanding regardless of where you come from. Hang on. And there's also a cultural thing. So you come to Trinidad, there's, you know, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you go to a particular country and you know, not wearing
if you go Dubai, you mean?
Yeah, like you're not the right clothing.
Or like
or
you're going to the States and you're drinking alcohol. I mean, it's against the law, but it's still disrespectful.
So there's an understanding of certain things that those levels of disrespect. So not everybody's going to have a T-shirt that says, you can't whine on me, right? And asking these questions. But there are, you know, so there are levels to that initial understanding of respect and what disrespect is. And what I want us to get out of and kind of go around the room is, how do we address how we react, whether to respect someone, show that respect, but also how to not react to disrespect. Because we are somewhere doesn't mean that person might still be getting ready. They mightn't have started that journey as yet.
I had to work on myself with them youths, boy. I can't control that at all. For instance, the call, right? my brethren, my close circles, we fellas, we could, as my brothers and them. Not only members of the call, but I have a couple other brethren where I consider brethren, and we will always talk and we'll argue, but we'll come to some kind of conclusion. You know, I mean, if I don't like something, I'll let you know. So I don't really like what you're doing, and we could have those discussions. For me, that is a level of respect that it's not hard for everybody to have. Not everybody's agree on the same thing. If I meet you today and we're talking about something, I say, boy, this, you really like that material and thing, you know, and you say, well, we have a discussion and say, well, this is my thing, this is how I like to wear it, and think that is you. I understand that. So I know further down the road, if I see him with something, he wearing something like that again, I know that I'm a boy there. That's what he choose to do. And so something for me, as we say this, it could go on and on. It have different levels, but for me, I try to make it simple. I try to respect, not try. I respect everybody, no matter what. If somebody have a difference of opinion, I respect that, and I just know we can't go down that road.
Right.
So it's simple for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
simple,
me ask you
simple.
something as well, Ziggy. I mean, what is your definition or understanding of what a man is?
A man,
should
boy,
be.
what a man should be, boy. On my brain is, boy, I throw all them things out the window, you know. I believe how everybody should be, how a human being supposed to be, daddy boy. We supposed to, and I ain't just bullshit, but I really believe that we supposed to love everybody and try to assist everybody and treat everybody as brothers and sisters. That's what make a real man, and not a man who beat his chest and say, well, I do this and I do that. I'm not afraid to ask for help and say, well, I'm wrong and I need some assistance, or I don't know this. Brethren, assist me, tell me something. That is a man for me now. From the time you hide behind this persona of a man supposed to be this and a provider, and for me, I don't really think it like that.
Subscribe to that.
Yeah, I do subscribe to them thing. A man is somebody with humility, a humble man, somebody not afraid to ask, somebody not to admit when you're wrong, somebody not afraid to admit when you don't have. When you don't have, that is a man, and not the egotistical kind of thing.
Amen
For
to
real,
that.
yeah. It's be better like that. You have to be humble. And you can't really watch a man and say, well, this man better than me because he had this and he had that. I don't know what the man do to get what he get. Same way a man can watch me and suppose, hey, Ziggy had real money. And
Well, they could do that.
Yeah.
They could do it. They could watch it.
You understand? So that is it for me there.
Because you see that and somebody look at you and think you have real
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
They might
yeah,
ask
yeah.
you for $20.
No,
And you
it-
say, I can't.
it-
All of a
it-
sudden,
It's hard for
it's
me.
on you, you know.
It's hard for
Respect.
me to call somebody to say that. You see my AC and work, you know, my fridge. It is very hard for me. From the time they walk in the house and they see my face, they said the price has changed. There's always be a different price for me. And I tell you, so it's be a hard thing. When you go and fix your car. And I mean, I prove it. I do the test on my own.
Serious,
Where I
yes.
call brethren to fix thing and I get a certain price, and then I call real thing. More than them call somebody to fix somebody. I say, well, I want to use them to fix my thing. And the price they charge me more than them, they charge me that price. So, I mean,
Is that
perception.
business
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean,
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Maybe they respect you so much.
Yeah,
right?
that's, Very respect.
I play.
In your closing, I wanted to address something that we had a conversation about where, you no longer say sorry. And you were saying where you're at in life. If you could tie that into, respect and how that could also be perceived as disrespect, but you are respecting yourself.
We just apologize, though. Say sorry.
That is true, but I mean, like everything else, the journey is about several failures along the way. So I know that's where you want to be.
No,
where
it's
you
not
want to
sorry,
go.
it's please. It's please you talk about. What Robert and I had a conversation, and I have been along a journey of adjusting my language to be more intentional about what I really mean, because I want to be able, when I speak the truth, my truth. So instead of saying, I'll just give an example. Somebody say, hey, come online with me now. And I say, nah, I can't come. When I say I can't come, that's actually a lie. I have the ability to come, but I don't want to come. So instead of
Choosing not to come.
saying words like that, I'm being very intentional with my words. And I can't remember what it was. And Robert was like, well, please. And I told him I don't say please anymore. Because when I did the research, please is a form of the word plea, which is a beg. And I'm not begging anybody to do anything. If I ask you to do something, it's either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Now, I have encountered people who please, and that's what they want from me. And I said, well, I'm not saying that. I'm asking you for something, and it's either you want to give it to me or you don't
I
want to
mean,
give it
challenge
to me.
that a little bit with the please, simply because it could easily be a demand. without the please, and the fact that please was, I feel, was introduced into the language was
Giving me an option.
specifically to be,
No, man.
hey, there's an option between
Sure,
the
this do that right true. That please thing is a must. And they come on that please will please you until you end up doing what they want you to do. So that please would.
Agree. Please, thank and welcome. You know, it's what's it say?
You please with what?
When you say no, you can't get this, you'll be like, please, you'll come back 5 minutes again, please, and that's the only word they will say.
But that is begging. That is now to what you was describing of plea, right? I'm pleading for something. I get that, but in terms of I'm just requesting or I'm asking of a favor, right? Which is not a demand. That's where I think the introduction of please
so
could
manners maketh the man,
Which-
as they say. And in Johannes' case, he was lucky that I was controlling my emotions. Because
No. This is semantic.
outside the studio.
Let me give you an example. Nile, I want your jacket, please. Right? Nile, give me your jacket.
No. Say the
Just
same
now.
line. Say the
Say
same
the
line.
please.
Say the same.
Nile, I want your jacket.
Two different connotations. I want your jacket means it's almost like I don't have a decision. I had to take off my jacket.
No,
and
that's
give
how
it to
you. That's how you perceive it.
But generally, that is not the
Culture.
general
then
perception.
you-
And
Disrespect people,
I'm okay with that because I'm saying there are ways how I want to interact with things and not. I'll give you one quick example. When I'm talking on the phone most time with business, you see the how are you? I going good. I don't need. I don't need
past
that.
too.
Pass it.
Small talk.
So I would say good morning because that's my standard. Morning, talk to me.
You say morning or good morning?
I don't know.
Because
it don't
somebody,
matter.
Can't paint you in
somebody
that
telling
corner.
me morning, you know I have a pet peeve
Right.
with that.
So,
Because
so
if you tell
see,
me, if you tell me morning, Ziggy, I will just be like, I would acknowledge. And
Sure.
the reason for that is because I'm aware of what time of day it is. Right? If you tell me good morning, it means at this time of day you're wishing me a pleasant day.
right.
And that's a difference.
And everybody have their way they want to be addressed and boundaries. And if Robert tell me, if you want to speak to me, you have to say please, right? Or good morning. I would have to decide, do I want to speak to Robert? And I have to decide whether I want to change my own thing
Do you want
for
to
him.
come in the studio?
If you understand what I'm saying.
That respect too.
And that is the respect. And it is really based on you personally. So we in closing, respect above all. What I've realized is, which I think is a bit unfortunate, but that respect is so subjective that each person could have their own perception of respect, which could make communication a bit difficult. But what I would say to help mitigate that is, one, you know what your boundaries are and try your best, at least the people closer to you, let them know what your boundaries are so that they could be knowledgeable of it to respect it. And also, as much as you can, you could ask. So, Niall, how do you want to be addressed? Ziggy, how do you want to be addressed? When I'm coming home by you, what do you want me to do? So you could ask as much. I know it's not the perfect rule of that, but if we trying to get as much respect as possible, at least ask and also tell. That's me.
So I will come in there. I think you really summarized everything quite nicely. Respect is a two-way street. You know, you give as you want to receive. However, if you're not receiving what you perceive as respect, then you're now in control of your reaction to that. And you could make that determination whether you want to go forward with that interaction or you can remove yourself. So be in control of your reaction and show respect not just to that person by not interacting as a result of that disrespect, but either educating them to how you feel about the situation or simply walking away. Violence should never be an option with regards to feeling disrespected. Communicate.
I agree. For me, I would go with respect. Just to reiterate, respect is something should be given forthwith, and the lack of respect does not mean disrespect. And I'll leave it at that.
Ziggy, any closing words?
For me, it's simple, you know. Before you address anybody, just think how you'd like somebody to address you. I mean, treat people how you want to be treated, and it's supposed to flow smooth after that. You know what I mean? And you know me, we say God is the boss. It was a privilege being here talking on manhood, we're talking about respect all year. For me, it's a fundamental thing. And I just want to treat everybody how I would love to be treated.
Perfect.
Appreciate you, appreciate the panel, appreciate the discussion here today. This was Manhood.
Manhood, brought to you in part by Reboot Sports Drink. Manhood, brought to you in part by Solomon's Bespoke.